Rise and shine, loyal theorists. Rise
It's time to stop!
Inadvertently piss off fandoms of games that I am genuinely a fan of. In total, to find the G-Man, we need to find something that can teleport, manipulate time, possesses deep knowledge of how future events fit together, and is an enemy to the Combine. And when you look at all of these traits, they perfectly describe a Neolinth.
Ratpat says that anything in Zen can manipulate time. Seeing as most creatures in Zen can do all of these things, why does this only apply to the Neolinth?
A creature that's the same species as the final boss from the first game. Yes, it's my theory that the G-Man, one of the most mysterious characters in the history of gaming, is a creature related to the space fetus from the first game.
Or, maybe it's not a Neolinth, but a completely different species.
Let's run down the list. As we covered earlier, all the creatures on Zen and Half-Life were running in fear from the Combine after that species took over their home planet. So they all have the motivation of revenge, and since they can't beat the Combine themselves, setting up an elaborate plan where human resistance fighters will take the Combine down is a good alternate strategy. Just like the G-Man, the Neolinth shows that he also has the power to create and manipulate local teleportation portals, as we see during the final battle against him. We also know that all creatures from Zen can manipulate time and space. The vortigaunts, a peaceful alien species enslaved by the Neolinth in Half-Life 1, are shown to have the same powers as the Neolinth species, just weaker versions of those powers.
So could G-Man be a vortigaunt or what? You're telling me stuff that goes against your theory.
Teleporting, manipulating space, even existing outside of time. In Half-Life 2, there's an incredibly well-hidden cave that houses what's known as the Singing Vortigaunt. This guy is like exposition dump central, but one interesting thing he says is this.
We remember the free man. We are coterminous. There is no distance between us. No false veils of time or space may intervene. We see you still in Black Mesa. Clearly we see you in the Neolinth's chamber.
The word coterminous means existing at the same time, so this proves that the Zen creatures are able to exist beyond the constraints of time. Just like how the G-Man knows which actions to take to set in motion the Combine takeover, as well as how he's able to set Gordon Freeman outside of time for 20 years.
Again, you're providing evidence that doesn't make me think you are right.
It's also worth noting that when the Vortigaunts unite their powers, they're able to stop the G-Man's plans, preventing him from contacting you and actually teleporting you away from his command at the beginning of Half-Life 2 Episode 1.
So? G-Man could just be an above-average vortigaunt, since that's probably a thing.
We'll see about that.
This is an essential detail because the Vortigaunts have been enslaved by Neolinths in the past, so of course they would be opposed to whatever plans the G-Man has.
Vortigaunts are telepathic. Even if they are unable to tell what G-Man is thinking, they can tell what Gordon Freeman is thinking. Gordon knows what G-Man can do. Assuming they can read G-Man's thoughts, they know exactly what his plans are. G-Man's plans are likely bad for everyone, so of course they try to stop him.
Now, I'm sure some of you must be confused. How can I say that this thing, the thing that you kill at the end of the first game, is the same as the G-Man? We literally see this creature die. Well, it's easy, actually. There's canonically more than one Neolinth. Although the game acknowledges that this Neolinth, the final boss of Half-Life 1, this species has been hunted to near extinction, according to a little-known interview with Mark Laidlaw, lead writer for the story of Half-Life, there have been others. When asked whether the Vortigaunts or Neolinth had ever been captured by the Combine prior to Half-Life 2, Mark replied that, quote, that particular Neolinth was the last of its kind and never captured, but some of its predecessors might have been, end quote. But it gets deeper. Listen to this.
Comes another.
Did you hear it? Comes another. Comes another. That's the Neolinth talking telepathically to Gordon in the first game. Here, listen for it again.
Comes another.
The Neolinth, while communicating to you telepathically in Half-Life 1, is outright saying there is another out there. Comes another.
Throughout the battle, You find dead people in hazard suits. The Nihilanth could be telling Gordon that he is just another guy coming to die.
Here's the kicker. A detail so minute, but it locks this whole thing together. Look at this. Nealanth, voiced by Michael Shapiro. Gman, voiced by Michael Shapiro. The G-Man is actually voiced by the same actor as the Nealanth boss. Doesn't get much more clear-cut than that.
Based on your logic, not only is G-Man a Nihilanth, but so is Barney, the security guards, and the scientists.
Just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for...
Oh boy, I can't wait for the Rat Pack fanfucks to yell at me.